Okay, we're looking at this polynomial, 225a squared minus 36b squared, and we're supposed to factor it. So that's the directions here. In fact, I'll put the directions up here are to factor. Now, this comes from the section on special patterns, and we have, something with a squared minus something else with a squared. It really should kind of immediately jump out at you that this is likely this pattern, a squared minus b squared. It's a difference of two squares. And that's a pattern that you need to know. This can be factored when you recognize it to a plus b times a minus b. So that's the pattern that we're looking for. So what I want to try to do here is I want to try to create something squared minus something else squared. And I'm kind of on my way to doing that. The tricky thing here is that people will sometimes think of this as 225a squared as if both are being squared, but right now only the a is being squared. I need to know what number squared gets me up to 225. And if that's something that you know, you can just jump right to it. If not, the square root feature undoes the square, so that will get you there. It's actually 15. 15 times 15 is 225. So that, what I'm looking for here is that this is 15a squared minus, and then I'll do the same thing over here on this side. I'm looking for something squared. Well, I definitely know I have a b squared, and I need to know what number when multiplied by itself is 36. If I know it, I just put it in. If not, I'm going to do the square root of 36, and it is 6. Now, this step is really important because now I have clearly identified what is my a piece, what number is being squared, and then what is my b piece, what is being squared here. And that's how I get the pattern of a plus b times a minus b. So I can jump immediately to my answer here, and it's going to be 15a plus 6b. It's this plus this in a set of parentheses. It's a binomial times this minus that. So 15a minus 6b. And that is my factored answer. I can jump right to the answer because I can see this pattern. I can create something squared minus something else squared, and I can go right to here. Now, I did want to show you that if you didn't see the pattern, you can do this with the area model, but you'll see it's a significantly more challenging, especially when we have more than one variable. So I can set up my area model here. And I can put my 225a squared here. Now this is actually my constant, which seems kind of weird, right? Because it's got a variable squared too, but it doesn't have an a term. So this goes here. And already you might be looking at this and going, wow, this is getting a little bit more challenging because I got more variables in there. But it's really the same process. The idea is that I don't have a middle term. I don't have something that is just an a to the first power. So it's going to be 0 here. Then this number gets really big because it's got to be 225 times negative 36. Which is negative 8100. So I'm looking for numbers that will multiply together to be a negative 8100 and add together to be 0. So really they have to be opposites. One's negative, one's positive. And 81 is a perfect square as well. That number is really helpful because the square root of 81 is 9. So basically I know I can do 90. 90 and 90. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky in this area model because we have two variables. So this needs to be a negative 90 AB. Because this has got an A here and it's got a B there. And then this is going to be 90 AB. So now I'm factoring, but I really got to look at the entirety of the column. I know they each have an A. And I'm looking for the biggest number that goes into 225 and 90. It happens to be 15, so I'll get a 15A here. Then I'm looking at the entirety of the row. And this has 15 is the biggest number that goes into both 225 and negative 90, but this time it's that they both have an A. So, oh, sorry, they both have an A on both of them. Excuse me, 15A. Now once I have that plugged in, I'm looking for the number here that will multiply it out. 15 times what to get me to a negative 90AB? Well, I just need the negative 6, and then I need to also multiply it by a b, so I need to get both variables. Then over here, it's basically the same numbers, but positive. So 6, 15 times 6 is 90. A times b, it's ab. And then the 6b times the negative 6b, negative 36b squared. So now my binomials are 15a plus 6b and 15a minus 6b. So you can see this is significantly more challenging, but doable based on the skills we have, than just recognizing the difference of two square patterns. What squared is 225a? 15a squared. What squared is 36b squared? 6b. Well, 15a plus 6b, 15a minus 6b. Much faster than this. In any case, I hope both are helpful, and message me anytime with questions.